Gotta unmute the microphone. How's it going, party people? Magmite here, back at it again, out here at University of College, learning stuff and things. Today we're doing something a little bit different. I've been wanting to do this for a while now. We're gonna do a game dev stream. I've got all these ideas bouncing around. I just gotta sit down and make a game. I thought I'd take you, the viewer, along with me. So let's get started here on Magical Adventure, full of coding, mischievousness, and maybe caffeine, though I don't have any beverages here, so. I've got it set up here, the 2 camera. I'm probably going to laugh the entire time about that. But we're going to be using our little Pico8 game engine, and I have notes. I also have a really clicky keyboard, just for fun, which we'll probably be using a bit too. And I'm thinking, hear me out, a game, kind of a frosty survival game. I'm up here in the cold, and I thought about what if we had an icy, frosty type survival game. So I'm thinking the main resources would be stuff like heat and food. You need to stay warm. You need to eat food. Different things you could have resources. There's gonna be like wood, wood, stone, meat, hide, and like metal maybe. And different enemies could be like the Yeti, the mythical beast. The Yeti, maybe like a yak. I think that's a real thing. Longhorn sheep, stuff like that. And I kind of want it to be a top-down survival game. I'm thinking a top-down, maybe, I know we've been learning a lot of vectors, so maybe kind of a vector-based movement system where you can press up, and when you press to the right, it actually will like move you over to the right, instead of just having your omnidirectional, like WASD, up, down, left, right, like 8-directional movement, if that makes sense. Maybe like a simple combat system, a simple crafting system too. I'm not the biggest, I don't know, it's weird, I'm not the biggest fan of like crafting survival games, but when I'm sitting down to make one, I'm like, maybe I should like them a little bit more. But I know all my friends out here being like, no crafting survival games for Leo. Can't believe this guy. Who is he? But looks like the stream is running. That's cool. All right, so let's start off. So we want to let's just make a simple little, I've got 2 mice here. Let's make a simple little map, maybe. Let's make some tiles. I think for our player character, I want him to be sort of like an Eskimo fella, kind of in a parka maybe, because you know they've got like kind of the white, kind of like ice climbers almost. Let's see. Give him some little purple boots. Oh, I kind of like this guy. Wow. What can I say? That guy. Just gonna make sure. Yeah, I have not streamed in a while. We used to stream back in the old days, but is it working? I'm gonna. Oh, let's hope this is an echo. Which we'll probably be using a bit too. Oh my gosh. And I'm thinking. Hear me out. A game. Kind of an icy, frosty survival game. No need to worry about that. Let's get back to the creative aspect. So we've got a little Eskimo fella. We could probably make him from a few different angles too. So we'll have him, let's make him a little walk cycle maybe. Oh, shoot. Maybe his foot kind of slides over a little bit more. How's that? Ooh, it kind of go over the place. Oh, let's delete that one. Watches the first 2 seconds of the stream or actual dialogue, and the rest is just, how do I do? I don't like that back foot. Oh, maybe we can get his like little thing moving up and down too. Oh, I kind of like that for a little just walking. So I'm thinking 8-directional movement. So we'll need to have some frames of him moving up as well, where he's facing away from the player. So we'll just go like the little hood. Was this hood that big? Oh, it's more of a square. And then, of course, facing directly the front, we can just keep that same. Is that just on the edge? Yeah. Same outline. Oh man, let's give him some little rosy. Oh my gosh, amazing. Oh, yes. Wow. I wouldn't say I consider myself an artist, but this guy, work of art. We love to see this. Okay, his boots are purple. Look at this dude. A Yeti would never attack this man. Oh, maybe he's got a little backpack too. Honestly, was thinking for a while of maybe teaching like a little Pico8 game development class, which might still be a thing. I might make some content for that as well. But when you have a lot of homework and you've got to sit down and make content, oh wow, that's a lot of time. So, okay, chat, would we like to see the Magimite game dev class? No chat, I will not hit the yoinky sploinky. And we'll just make his other foot go up like that. There you go. And same for the back one. Oh my gosh, amazing. Okay, so let's make a new tab for our player. So he's gonna need, let's call him, put him 63, 63. He's gonna need an active sprite. We're gonna need to find a funny way to do animation too, I'm sure. And I'll probably give him a velocity. Rule number 1 of the Magimite coding class. You must format your code to make it beautiful. Must be a work of art. Let's see. So we'll need... And maybe we can handle animations in our draw player function. Okay. Player. We'll just draw him as probably sprite 1. So these are just the basic Pico8 functions. The update loop does kind of some game logic. Drawing is where you draw everything, presumably. Oh, and that does not switch between tabs. And then init, that's kind of the initial phase. British programmers be like, init, bro. Player, draw. Just run that. It breaks. Why? Draw, player, player, draw. That's, yeah, naming conventions. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Thanks for coming to the stream, you guys. We will see you later. Wow, we have 2 concurrent viewers. Who's in the stream? We're not giving away any free... Watch me join my own stream just to see who's all hanging out. Cool. Let's see. I gotta make sure not to click off the stream. That'd be kind of dumb. We're drawing our player. Let's get our input too. So we're gonna grab it as... Oh, I need to work on this. I need to make the... what do I call this? Lib. Function... There's like a library. I really like Godot. I'm gonna save this quick. I'm gonna call it Icy Monkey for no reason. Okay, run it. Sweet. So I'm gonna kind of take the input. It's gonna be, so with Pico8, input is as a Boolean, but I sort of want to convert that to a vector. So we're gonna say if button. Oh, so we're gonna, what are we gonna do? We're going to have vx, vy is equal to 0, 0. And of course, Vx is going to be equal to bool to int. So the right press minus the left press button. And we'll probably do a similar one for that. But of course our up direction, since we're working with a game, up direction is going to be down, yeah. Yeah, when you press up, it's positive instead of negative. Definitely a rookie mistake, but let's see. So then we'll say player dot velocity x equal to velocity x. How do we normalize a vector? We didn't talk about that. Vy. That's all we need to do, I think. So we can just call an update. We'll grab our I see what is this in chat. This is Pico8, the little tiny game engine, and we are making a game today. I don't know how delayed the stream is. I think I turned it so the delay is like quite significant, because I think that was back when my computer was like no. Maybe. Whatever, we've already started. We're going back now. So we're going to get our player input and up move player. Player.x plus equals player.velocity x. And we can call move player right there. See, there we go. That's what I was talking about, little omnidirectional movement. So when you press both, so the way I really like this way of doing it, I think I learned that from like Ms. like a long time ago with Godot. And you kind of take the velocity. So the velocity is which way you're going, and especially since we're on a top-down plane here, we want to be able to cancel out. So if you press left and right at the same time, well, of course, if we get left, that's going to evaluate as 1 minus right, which is going to evaluate as 1 as well. So 1 minus 1 is 0, so it's going to return 0, which means here I'm pressing left and right on my keyboard, and he's not moving. But then you can still press up and down, too, so it's kind of a nice, pretty clean way of doing it. And we can also add speed, too. That looks nice. We could make him animate. We probably want to make him collide, too. Let's work on some tiles. So I'm thinking the basic, it's all going to be snow, though. I wonder if that's going to mess with I wonder if that's going to mess with his costume. We might have to change our snow color. Let's just try and do that. We'll just call map. Oh, yeah. Oh, I don't like the... Maybe we can change our snow to like a less snowy. Maybe we can have some flex. Let's run that. I sort of like that a little better. Because we don't want to make it full-on blocks, I don't think. Let's see. Because, yeah, that's more like grid, the matrix. I like the natural sort of look, though, of the other. Is it just gray? Yeah, it doesn't look bad. Oh, and then I'm thinking, so we're also going to need a particle system. I'm going to add a tab for that. That's our library. Because I imagine, like, you've got all the snow coming down. Maybe that could add a thing, too, because I think one of the big game dev things, I want to have, like, heat be, like, a resource. You have to, like, make a fire and keep bringing wood to the fire, just like Jungle Bungle. But, so that's going to be a resource. You're going to have to keep adding wood to the fire to stay warm at night, maybe even during the day, too. Well, that's kind of lame. Yeah, at night you need to stay warm. And then maybe there's, like, a wind element, too. So maybe during the day you could get cold. And, like, the wind is kind of displayed not through, like, a number, but there's, like, the snowflakes that kind of fall. And then if it's too windy, the snowflakes are, like, that horizontal snow. But if it's nice, it's just, like, a gentle snow. So I think we'll see what goes on with that. But I like the sound of that. Particle system, nice. Yeah, so let's go back to So I guess collisions. So we've got kind of our basic snow tile. Maybe I'll make a few more. Oh, maybe there'd be like a fun little snowman you can destroy. With snowier snow. I'm gonna give him a little top hat too. Beautiful. Alright, we can just put a few of these guys around our world. Sweet. Look at these dudes. Look at their hair. Sick. So resource-wise, I think I'll probably do resources, things that you can like hit will probably just be an object. It won't be, because in Pico 8, you have these different map tiles, right? So here's my snowman map tile, and the map tile has 8 different flags, and you can change the flags to indicate different things. So say you're, maybe you want to make it so if it has flag 1, that means it's a colliding tile, so it can kind of make editing with the tile map a lot easier. But also that means at the expense, well, we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, I think we need some resource. Something, and maybe there'll be like a funny like piece of just dead wood. It's all frosty. Does it even look like wood? I'll just put the background on there for now. Though if it's an object, we'll probably maybe want a little darker. The frozen tundra. That's too symmetrical. Trees are not symmetrical. Have you ever talked to a tree? And maybe there'll be like kind of a rock resource too. Maybe there's like some stones you can collect. Because I don't want it to be like a full-on like, check it out, you go into mining zone. Though, I mean, you could probably potentially do that. But we'll see how much we get done tonight here. As a average college student, I do have a bedtime to adhere to, which is kind of lame, but you know, keeps me sane. Oh, I like that for rock. A nice border on there. Maybe I'll add a little sparkle. And what are the other things? Of course, there's going to be like meat, hide, and maybe metal too. We'll see. Let's do that for now. Let's see if we can make our guy animate quick. That would be a good. So we can take our direction vector. Oh, which that does mean, okay. Let's see. Maybe we'll make that into an array. So we've got like 3, I guess, yeah. Let's see. We'll call that left and right, up, down, which also implies we'll need a flip value 2. Flip equals false. Okay, so then we'll just need to look at draw player. So we'll say if player X is greater than 0, then true, and we can just throw that in because I think it goes what? Sprite, position, width, breadth, flip, I want to say. Let's see. What did that say? Oh, yep. Player dot velocity x. Oh, maybe we should only check this because otherwise it'll default to going that way. We want it to leave off. Ooh, but I want to put it under input. Maybe we'll just make a new function to animate our player. I suppose for our animation flip frame, so what do we got here? So 2 and 3, so 18, 19. Contact lens, 18, 19. And what, 23, 24? 34, 35. So you can say if. You can say so if our velocity is not 0, if we are moving, then we want to say we want to start animating through our sprite. So I suppose we're going to make maybe we'll call this Annie. I'll have another variable for our sprite. We'll just set that equal to 1 for now. Just draw. Go, same old. So if we're moving, then we're going to say oh, so there's going to need to be like an orientation thing. Okay. Of course, doing a lot of good thinking in front of the screen. That's how we roll. How long have we been streaming? Wow, 20 minutes. All right. Unless we just change the way we do velocity. Yeah, it could almost be like a stack, but okay. So if we are moving, let's see. Maybe we'll set, so we'll have deer, which will be our direction. So it'll be left and right, or up, or down. So if our player velocity is not 0, then we'll say S equal to animation player.s is equal to player.animation player.direction. We love to see it. Okay, oh, we need to have the default stored in there too. Oh, which we could just say else player.sprite is equal to player.animation 1 minus 1. Clever. What? Is it not? It's Annie. What are you talking about? Oh, player.animation, player.direction 1. Oh, he turns to... let's see. Why would that be happening? Player... Oh, yep, I know why. Because that. Amazing. Sweet. Oh, but we need to add animation timer. This is why Pico8's like a challenge, right? It's like you're kind of basically building all your own systems all by yourself. So you've got to go through and say, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this. And then you have to actually make it. It's not like you can just drag and drop. Here's my instant timer, so we can say, oh yeah, it could just be time modulo, go through the floor of time, modulo 2 plus 1, I want to say. Will that work? Because time will either be even or odd, so it'll either be 1. So 2 will either go have a remainder of 1 or 0. So yeah, that should work. Oh yeah, but it's just a little bit slow. Floor of time is divided by 4. even worse. So just do time divided by 2. And then he dies. No. Now instead of time, we could just have our own time variable, supposedly. Maybe that's what we'll do an update. We'll call this frame time. Oh, and there's like an integer limit too. If we I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but this is currently tired boy hours, so you know. So we can just say frame time modulo 2. And that's the same. Okay. So that's being oh, there we go. We found the secret number. 8's too high. How about 4? Oh, I kind of like 4. Maybe we'll bump down to 3. UPD Annie. So this is to update our animations. So we'll say, we'll just call this at the end of, probably right here. And in this function, we just want it to say if player. Oh no, we want to call that after. No, shoot. So it'll update our animation to reflect our motion change. So we're going to say if player.velocity x is greater than 0, then player.flip is equal to true. Actually, no. If it's greater than 0, that means you're moving that way, so flip is actually going to be false. And we can say else if player.velocity x is less than 0, then player.flip is equal to true. Otherwise, we don't really want to do anything. What? Did I close update animation? If then, else if then, and. Is it actually else if one word? Yeah, probably. Oh, nice. So he'll flip. Sweet. I don't know how I feel about that hood flap animation. Let's mod that a little bit. What about that? That looks okay. Let's just add another corner there. Oh, what if he has a little... It's like... Oh. Oh, of course, that's not being shown because of reasons. We got a little red mouth. He's like, this is so hard. Breathing. That's not the right one either. He just like me, for real, for real. Panting as he walks around. Oh, I need his foot to move a little. Oh, but that means we can easily add more frames. So why did that last one work? That's a big thing too. You write code, but you're like, why did it work? Because we're grabbing frame time, which honestly, it's the same as time. So I'm just going to change that back to time. Because I don't know if frame time is going to necessarily be... I suppose it just goes fast. But then if we add... let's see. So instead of 2, we can call it the length of player.animation-player.direction. There we go. Now that's all self-completing. So all I got to do here is just add the numbers. So let's change it up a little bit. Maybe we'll copy that. He's like, okay, I survived. It's just cardio. We'll make his foot go up. And we'll just make the hood go back to normal. Maybe we'll switch out those two frames. Do. So maybe we'll make him... Oh, what if we just make him get a little bit of air? Bing. If that's too much. He just jumps. Oof. So that's 1 to 4. Oh, that little hop. I do like that. Let's speed it up just a tiny bit. Which might mean this needs to get dynamic too. Oh, that little foot at the end is kind of dragging a bit though. So it goes over, up, and down. How's that look? Let's do that. Or maybe he needs another frame of like falling. Let's move that over 1. Oh yeah, some little squash and stretch. Oh, shoot, let's put that up there. So like impact, he's just sprinting. This guy cannot wait to get away from the Yeti. That's just idle. Do. So he needs a little. So down. Maybe he just like compresses just a little bit. It's a very squishes over. Maybe that's not the way. Maybe he just his head just kind of collapses a little bit. It's too fast though. Animation. This is why we hire artists. Because it looks like from there he goes up and then he goes down. Yeah, let's just delete that and just copy this. So he's gonna like land. Oh, that's not it. Oh, fine. It's gonna like land on his foot. Maybe I'm gonna move him just a little forward actually. That doesn't look good. Yo, we got 1 like on the stream. Thanks for watching here. This will probably be archived too. This will be kind of fun to just have Magimite the stream. What was Leo doing in college? Oh, buddy. Oh, how's that look? Oh, but that foot's in the same place. Maybe that's got to just be a little back. He's like, whew. How's that look? I kind of like that. Let's add that last frame, though. We gotta speed that up. So how many? So there are 4 frames in here, and I've got it at 4. So I'll multiply it by, again, oh my gosh, the length of animation, player.animation, player.direction, plus 1. And then he dies. I bet you. We'll just stick it at 5 and see what that does. Maybe we'll take off that last frame. That looks kind of good, the little hop. Then when you tap 2. Then do we even need our up and down sprites? I kind of would like to add it just for like the sake of doing. Because we have all the other animations too, so. So we can say so that's if we have our velocity going. So if our velocity is there, oh shoot, I don't think there's a really an efficient way to get button press, like order of input, because it doesn't look bad though. Yeah, let's stay with that for now. We're gonna scrap the other frames just for the sake of sanity slash game jam. I wouldn't call this a jam, but this is just kind of like a fun little project. Just a fun little guy. I think it needs to move over a little bit more. I think we can delete that guy. Goodbye. What if he had a little backpack? Like, is that too big? Is that too sus? Oof, I'm gonna look back on this in 40 years and be like, why would he say sus right there? Save that. Okay, that's pretty good. Hopping around. Yeah, what kind of things? Maybe instead of like things you run into, some of the things are just like, there's just a chasm. There's just big holes in the map that you can run into and get hurt on. Oh, so we gotta do some fun perspective art. So there's the top of our chasm. And there's where it goes down. It don't go down. Let's put like the hole there. Wall. Death. It's more like the entry. Oh, maybe that's. Oh, I think my perspective is a little off. Maybe. Don't you have to have like the lines that like run down too, kind of, or like some depth, like there. What about like? Well, you did algebra homework. I made games in Pico8. Maybe we just want to take off the edge entirely. Oh, yep, I think so. How's that look? That's not too bad for like a bottomless pit you can chuck someone into. Just make it a little bit bigger. Don't fall down into the ice. First lesson of being an ice fisherman. I like that, alright. We'll call that. Unless we just put like water at the bottom. Maybe that is what's down there. I like the abyss better. Okay, so that'll be an obstacle. Maybe there's like big. Oh, maybe there's like a big like skull or something that you can't walk through. Oh, does that mean we're gonna have to pathfind? Oh my gosh. Skull. You can tell I'm not a student of medical science. Give him some like teeth or something. If only one night at Corwin could see me now. That is a skull looking. Oh, it needs a shadow too. That's what's up. Yeah, watch out for the big skull. There we go. A little bit on that side too. That's not too bad. We got our skull. We've got some resources. Rock. Snowman. I'll probably end up using flags. That might just be the best way. So, where's our standard library? We can write a little function. So, to collide, we will need to check. Let's see. Check. Just to call check call. So we've got our x1, y1. Maybe we'll, okay, so this collision, call this map hit. So we have x1, y1, width, height, and it's going to check map tiles. Let's see. So say for xx is equal to x1 plus width, and we'll just do 7 do for 1y is equal to y1 y1 plus height 7 do if oh yeah, and then converting. Yes. So mx is going to be equal to, grab the floor divided by 8 times 8. So what this does, it kind of takes a random number. So Pico8, the grid system here, every map tile is 8 by 8 pixels, or so yeah, 8 by 8 pixels. So to convert a pixel tile coordinate, so let's say this here 1 2, so we'll call this one 2 2 because that'll be 0 0. Yep, there it is at the bottom, 2 2. So 2 2 in map tiles is right here, but then in pixel tiles, that upper corner, can I zoom any more? Is that it? But yeah, that upper corner in pixel tiles would be what? 15 over and 15 down. So that would actually be 15 15. And let's say our player is right there on like 17 17. When we take the floor of 17 divided by 8, we get 2, and then multiply that by 8 again to convert it back to pixel. Which I don't know if we necessarily need to convert it back to pixel. So we'll just leave it at that for now. And we can say if mget, fget. So fget is for flag get, mget is to get a map tile, mx, my is equal to 1. Then return true. And at the end we'll say return false. Let's save that. Let's place a random skull in our world just for fun. Let's stick it right there, 8 1. Oh cool, spooky. So we'll say, so this does work. Put in our player's coordinates. If our player is touching the skull. Oh, yeah, equals. Return true. Call that 7 7. Then come on. Oh. Let's see what that does. What? Oh, did I not pass it the right number? Player.x.vx. Oh, there it is. We want to change that to 7, presumably. Oh no, we'll just change that to height. Come on. Oh, look at that. We don't crash into it. Beautiful. No running into the skull. Wow, that's elegant. Okay, let's double check from the other side though. They're crashing just a little bit. This is very nitpicky, but sometimes you gotta be a little nitpicky. We're just gonna, actually, no, we'll give it a nice red border. Oh, shoot. Actually, that works better. Bing, bing. Nice. So that means our sprite is perfectly not crashing. Love to see that. Nice. Wow, beautiful. All right. So now we've got skulls you can't walk through. So that means we could also make these. So that's why the flags are an advantage, because then you just add a little red, you just hit the red button, and then when you put it into the game will say, oh, yep, he knows exactly not to fall into the hole. Yeah, so then we got to do pathfinding. That means we might get to start doing some A-star pathfinding algorithm, which would be kind of cool. So let's see. And this computer's almost dead. Nice. Let's maybe get some resources up in here. How do we want to do those? Because, like, procedural's nice, having that randomly generate. Maybe there'll be different zones. This is like the dead tree zone. And if you go there every day, you'll find a new dead tree. Or they'll just be placed around the... Maybe they'll just be placed at the... that is a good question. Because if you're, like, playing the game and you're like, oh, trees aren't generating anymore, guess I'll die. And then you die. Which isn't probably the most fun for your player. We're going to use them as objects, I think. So here's particles for snow. So we're going to call this resource objects. Oh, but then we can distinguish little zones. So we're going to make like a meta tile. So we'll call it red. And we'll just put like a little T on there for tree. I'm going to put this on flag 2. Let's just write a quick little test. Where's my draw function? Print. Is that not sprite? Yeah. Two, yep, okay. That's what I thought, but you know, never doesn't not pay to not test. So. Oh, but then does that mean? Oh no, because the tree. No, because that's going to be an object, so we don't need to worry about that. So yep, that will be 1. So we're going to need to have a way. So the way I'm thinking I'll envision how this works. You'll have this little T block, and you place it in the game. But when you run it, it's going to turn it into a terrain, but it'll remember where that was, and then like in a radius around there, it'll spawn trees randomly every couple of ticks or whatever. Okay, so we'll have function add object. We'll call it add res. So when we add a new resource, we got to think of what we want to do with it. So we'll have an x coordinate, a y coordinate, type, call it t, type. That might be about it. So we'll call r is equal to little array, x, y, type, add to resource, type. Beautiful. Oh, we got to add a camera too. I'm going to put that under here. Main. To do. Camera. Resource spawner. Resource interactions. Okay. Save often. That's what I told the ninjas at Code Ninjas. And we'll need. Call it draw res for R in all. res do. Oh, so now we can just have, so type can be kind of like an enum. So we can have res types equal to a little array. And then in each array, oh my gosh, wow. I should send this to my professor and ask for extra credit. So we can set this one, we can call this one our, this will be tree. So it'll have sprite, which will be equal to whatever a tree sprite is, which is 66. Sprite of 66. And then we can add other things later too. Okay, so we'll say reference will be equal to res types r dot let's call it t. I'll just do r3 for now, which probably will get changed eventually. Yeah, that's so messy. Okay, whatever. Oh, I swear there's local and global in Pico8 too. I gotta like write down all the things so I don't forget. How bad is that lagging, I wonder? Oh, it's not too bad. Okay, so reference, so we can say SPR reference. Does that work? Yes, the reference will be equal to res types, and then we're looking at R3, which will be 1, because we're a tree. Okay. That should work. So now to test it, we'll just add a resource in. And of course we didn't call these functions, so we need to change that. Type 1. So that's adding a resource, and what else do we got to do? So we got to draw them too. Usually the verb before the thing. I think I forget to, what? R. For R and all res, ref is equal to R3. Why would that not be working? Res types, like a number 1 should be. Oh, duh. There he is. Oh, we can run into him. Which, because his flag is set, but he's not going to need a flag. He's going to need to not have that. Awesome, probably I'll put those somewhere else. So this will be like map tiles. That's actually room for some more tiles. So then maybe I'll stick that. We'll make a sad little, oh, like the Minecraft dead bush. What do those look like? I'm going to pull one of those up. Because while Minecraft is, gosh, what is Minecraft? It's like 16 by 16 sprites. And Pico8 is not that. Notch when he adds dead bush to Minecraft. Finally, some good food. I like to think this passive dialogue is what Hex went through when I was working on Corwin in chat. Just the, what is this guy? I'm like, dude, are you okay?